Unveiled pervasive and systemic problems with non-working elevators in the New York City Housing Authority. We've learned that NYCHA is dangerously close to violating a new building code safety requirement for those elevators. Our Courtney Gross joins me now with tonight's top story. And Courtney, I'm inclined to almost make a joke about how, well, if the elevator doesn't work, it can't be unsafe, right? But there is a serious problem here.
There is a serious problem here, and this goes back to a horrible tragedy similar to what we saw last week in 2011 when a woman died in an elevator accident in Midtown. Now, this requirement came about several years ago to make sure elevator doors stayed closed before an elevator car moved. It goes into effect in January, and the Housing Authority is far from being in compliance.
The interlock circuit itself. The interlock is right here.
Patrick Carr is a known elevator expert here in the 5 boroughs.
It's a backup system. It's just telling you everything's good again.
We met him in Long Island City to find out about a new requirement for every elevator in the city.
And this was one of the earliest versions of what we're looking for, which is door lock and gate switch monitoring.
Come January, nearly every elevator in the city must have a door lock monitoring system, like this one here. It makes sure elevator doors are closed before the car can start moving. Experts say devices like this one can prevent tragedies like the one last month, when a 30-year-old man was crushed by an elevator in this Manhattan building.
It's like having a check engine light, if you will, on your car. 999% of the time, these two devices are sufficient. But for that 001 that can kill someone, that's the protection we're putting with the unintended movement devices.
And to make sure the elevator doesn't move if the doors aren't closed.
We do not want an elevator to move with the doors open.
But just months before the deadline, we have learned the New York City Housing Authority is far from meeting the requirement. 75% of the authority's elevators still need the device. 2,400 elevators to be exact.
And I have concerns that NYCHA is in danger of breaking the law when it comes to elevator safety. NYCHA has had ample time to comply with the building code when it comes to door lock monitoring, and instead NYCHA has been dragging its feet when it comes to elevator safety.
In a letter to NYCHA's federal monitor this week, Torres said the Housing Authority is in danger of breaking local law, adding the process of getting these devices within the authority has been deeply dysfunctional, even by the usual standards of the Housing Authority. Torres cited a New York One investigation which found the authority was plagued by thousands of elevator outages every year. In response, a spokesperson for the Housing Authority said the age of NYCHA elevator equipment, coupled with delays related to finding qualified and interested vendors, have proved challenging. Despite difficulties with the procurement process, the authority is working diligently to identify appropriate vendors through new bids to complete door lock monitoring installations as soon as possible. NYCHA told us they are securing a new vendor to install these devices today, and they hope to get all of this work done in 3 months, albeit that seems like an uphill climb as of this point. Errol.
Well, hope is very nice, but there's a law that they have to meet. What happens if they're not in compliance, by the way, if they don't get these all installed?
So we talked to the Department of Buildings, of course, asking them whether or not elevators would be taken out of service if they didn't have these devices. They said no, they wouldn't be taken out of service, but they would receive violations and potential fines down the road if they don't get these installed by January 2020.
And who's the vendor? You said that they were going to select a vendor to get all of this done.
They said they were in the process of, finishing or dotting I's, crossing T's today and getting that vendor picked today. We, of course, asked who the vendor was and how much the contract was, et cetera, but we did not hear back from NYCHA by the time we came on set here this evening.
Okay. Now, I mean, I know you don't need an extra job as the unofficial NYCHA monitor, but there's quite a lot of oversight, including this federal monitor. Do we know if this is on his radar screen?
So that letter that Richie Torres sent was sent directly to Bart Schwartz, the federal monitor. We touched base with them as well today to see if they had received the letter, whether they were going to be doing anything about it. Obviously, elevators is under his purview. There's an elevator team within the NYCHA monitor's office to oversee elevators and make sure they're, trying to make them better. But we haven't heard yet specifically back about this particular letter from Councilman Torres.
Right. I mean, I would have thought the letter would go the other way, right? I mean, the monitor is supposed to be there every day. Council members have a lot of other stuff to do, right?
Sure, but Richie Torres is obviously running for Congress as well, and he has a lot of things to talk about as of this point, including a lot of things at NYCHA.
All right. Thanks a lot.